Good morning. Oh my goodness. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. And one puppy down to say good morning. And oh my goodness. Ah, 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 ah. And of course, we've got Micah Powder on the floor. Fantastic. All right. Always exciting in the studio. Always, always, always exciting. At least just cover that up. Okay. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Valentine's Day, right? Full of expectations, sometimes full of disappointments. I personally have never put a lot of stock into Valentine's Day. I don't want somebody to treat me great on Valentine's Day. I want somebody to treat me really nicely and with respect every day. So, and it's hard for me to buy into the hype of Valentine's Day because I just think that, sure, it's a great day, and I appreciate that. Hi, Sarah. How are you, my dear? I couldn't even see you there. It's not even showing that I have anybody out there. So hello. Started a little bit later today, waiting for a deep freeze just to come, and it said it was 2 stops away. And that was like an hour and a half ago, and it's still not here. So I'm just praying that the tracking's off and I'm not going to get interrupted. But yeah, I want somebody that treats me nice every day. That's what I want. I know a lot of great things happen on Valentine's Day, and it's like Mother's Day, right? It's nice that there's an actual day given to celebrate moms, and there's one for dads. But I think moms should be appreciated as often as possible. You know, it's hard to make up for a whole year of taking somebody for granted on one day. And I think, sure, a lot of people use Valentine's Day as a way, of giving significance to the relationship or whatever. But I think that if you really care about somebody, you can show them all year long that you love them better than you can tell them on one day. You know, maybe that's just me, and maybe that's why I'm single. Oh, good. Yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking when I thought, okay, well, the tracking said that the freezer was 2 stops away, and I thought, oh, Sarah will get to sleep in an extra hour if I go live an hour later. I don't know where they are. I think the tracking's like stuck. Maybe it's really windy here today, so we'll see. But I'm getting ready to move. Hopefully, maybe within the next 2 months, and so I really needed to get a deep freezer. So it's just a commercial thing, really. Yeah, I think so, and that's unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. I'm single, but I don't. I'm a happy party of one. Let's just put it that way. I honestly don't even know where I would fit a relationship in my life. Not right now. It wouldn't even be fair. No, I haven't been anywhere to move. I'm constantly, I'm going back and forth between, do I want to buy? The market here is getting ready to crash. So it's been a real seller's market. Housing prices, rental prices were just crazy for the past few years. The interest rates went up. Everything was really against buyers. And COVID might have pushed that. I don't know, because when people found that they were going to have to like lock down and quarantine and do all that, people started going crazy and buying. They were just buying like crazy, and I think that just pushed all the home prices and just pushed them through the roof. But it's getting ready to crash. So I don't know if I want to, just rent for like a year and just save up some more and wait for the market to really crash, or if I want to buy. If I bought, I would spend less on my mortgage than I would on rent. But if I rent for a year, I could end up with a smaller mortgage. Yeah, I'm not seeking a relationship either. So I have a feeling it's just going to be me and the dogs, and hopefully a Lipton green tea sponsorship. Hello, Lipton. Hello. One day they'll send me a green tea. Just one green tea they'll send me. I know they will. Yeah, I'm not looking for a relationship either. But what I wanted to talk about today, because it is Valentine's Day, and whether you're single or in a relationship, you can't get away from it. So I want to talk about self-love because, I remember hearing when I was younger, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself. I did not understand that. I understand that now. I think until you love yourself, until you honor yourself, until you own all the great things about you, until you own all the things that need work, it's really hard to merge your life with somebody else's successfully. And I mean, and by successfully, I don't mean that there's not going to be arguments and trials and tribulations. That's life. Uh, what I mean, a lot of people, they go into a relationship thinking that it will complete them. And the truth is, being in a relationship really requires two complete people. Because if you're in a relationship, I feel, now you're not just tackling life and the problems and the twists and the turns that throws you. Now you're dealing with everything that throws you and somebody else's. And you have to be strong enough to shoulder them both. And then there's just the challenges that come with being coupled up, right? So I think you really have to be two complete people. And I also feel like it's the same thing with unfortunately, people that have children. Oh, is there a theory called that? The deficit theory? Yeah, I didn't even know it was a thing. But I know it's a thing. I know it's a life thing. I didn't know that it actually had a name. It's like people that have children because they want something that's going to love them, someone that's going to love them, and listen, until you honestly love yourself, until you can toot your own horn and believe it, it will never matter how much somebody else loves you if you don't love yourself. It just won't matter. It just won't matter. It would be like somebody saying, like, let's say Sarah, let's say that you're a writer, right? And relationship to complete self. Oh, you call it. Oh, you named it the deficit theory. Yeah, it's people do it all the time, right? So let's say that you were just an outstanding writer, and people, anybody that read your stuff said, "Oh my God, what an amazing writer!" And I've never read anybody, you touched my soul, and this and that. But you yourself didn't think that you were a great writer. You thought you were a fluke, a fraud. Everything that anybody else said, it just wouldn't matter, right? You would deflect any of that compliment, any of that adoration, any of that admiration. You would deflect it with your own feelings of yourself, what you believe to be true, right? The stupid stream is really, I can see it freezing, and I think it's because of the wind today. So if you get into a relationship with somebody to have them love you and you don't love yourself, it's not going to matter what they say about you, how they feel about you, because in your heart of hearts, you're not going to buy it. It's not going to fill that void. You gotta fill it up. You gotta go into a relationship as full and complete as you possibly can. Because relationships are tricky and challenging, right? And loving yourself is tricky and challenging. And I know that that's true. You know, it took me a lot of years to really own who I am and appreciate who I am, and understand that if there were things that I felt were broken or needed fixing, then I was the one that had to fix them. And I would say that I'm pretty happy with who I am and where I am in my life right now. And another person wouldn't make me any happier with who I am. So perhaps I'm at the perfect stage in my life to be in a relationship, and I don't have time for one. So I don't know. And who knows? Maybe one will come along when I'm least expecting it. And maybe I'll make time for it. I don't know. But right now, yeah. Hello, whoever else has joined. Well, I couldn't see that you were in there for a while, Sarah. So I got. So I'm gonna read the out of our book that I like to read out of because she's so cool. I'm gonna read it for Valentine's Day. Sarah, I know your Valentine's Day was yesterday. And this is, it says, send love letters. Sending love letters to people we care about is a rewarding experience, both for us and for them. Making the time to take pen in hand and express our thoughts is valuable. But there's another way to send love letters too. This way takes as much time and attention as writing a love note does, but it doesn't require a pen and paper. It requires concentrated thought. There's an invisible thread of energy winding through the universe, one that connects us all. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you can tell if someone's angry or upset with you, even if you haven't talked to or seen this person? You can feel his or her anger, even if you haven't been physically present to experience it. Thoughts have power, particularly those charged with intense emotional energy. When we think mean, bitter thoughts, it can be like sending hate mail along our connecting wires. It can almost be a sensory attack. Why not send loving thoughts charged with positive emotional energy? We can consciously choose to use our connections to others to send love, send positive thoughts, blessings, peace, assistance in time of crisis. We can send our thoughts in the form of a prayer, or we can simply think a blessing or positive thought charge it with energy, and send it along the wires with love. Hold on. Apparently, Jemima has something she'd like to say. Well, hello, my funny Valentine. Hello. Okay. Just thank you, Jemima. No, thank you, Jemima. Don't be a stalker, Jemima. Okay. Uh, and then this is the little affirmation or saying, my God, this dog. When someone you know or love comes to mind, or even someone you don't, perhaps someone in another part of the country or the world, perhaps someone going through a particular crisis, and you're not certain what to do, send a love letter. Your loving thoughts will touch them, and your blessings will come back to you. Nice. Uh, it's really nice. It's a nice thing to do. But I would challenge you all because the focus is self-love. This talk, uh, this, this, you're just not going to be satisfied. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is so nice. This is so nice. I know. Now go lay down in your bed. Would you please get out of that mica powder? I spilled some mica powder on the floor. And it's blue, and they're walking through it, of course. I would challenge you all today to sit down and take a moment and write a love letter to yourself. It is the most important Valentine that you'll ever write. Jemima Josephine, I swear, if you don't chill out in a minute, what is going on with you? It's like somebody gave her Adderall or something. Would you? Whoa, what is going on? Hello, 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 hello. I see. And oh my gosh. Oh, did you just find out it was Valentine's? Did you just find out it was Valentine's Day? You just got the memo? Well, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is just not appropriate. Coco. Ow! Jemima Josephine. What is your sister doing down there? She's out of control. She's really crazy. I need you to sit down, ma'am. Oh my God, it's Cujo. It's Cujo. Seriously, what are you doing? I don't understand what's going on. They are so crazy today. Oh, good. They're attacking each other. Wow. Okay. I want you to write at least a one-page letter to yourself. A love letter to yourself. I want you to toot your own horn. I want you to tell yourself why you love yourself so much. All the things that make you amazing. And one of the cards that I pulled out of the... Thank you, sir. I don't know what got into her. I don't know what that was all about. Seriously, she's being crazy. So out of the little deck, this little deck I pulled, yes, it should be interesting. And I thought that this was a good place to start. I liked what this card had to say, and it had two questions. How have I become me? And what am I like? Okay. How have you become who you are? How have you become what you're like? You know, we're all precious, precious stones, right? And were tumbled. Have you ever heard of a rock tumbler? You take a rock and you throw it in this big little machine, a rock tumbler. Some of them are hand cranked. Some of them are electric or battery operated. But what it does to the rock is it smooths it and it polishes it. And it really comes out, almost doesn't matter what kind of a rock you throw in there. It's going to come out a lot prettier. That's we're the rock, and the rock tumbler is life. And we go in it one way, and we get tossed around and turn, and we go flip upside down and sideways, and we're not sure which way is up sometimes, and we come out every time. At any moment, somebody could stop it and pull us out, and we're going to be changed and smoother and more polished. What are the things that have polished you, have made you smoother, have made you kinder, have made you gentler, have made you wiser, have made you more cautious? And is it being cautious, is that wrong? No, it's not. When you're cautious, I view cautious when I sit back and I observe something with caution. I think it's I don't think that I'm being pessimistic. I don't think that I'm being skeptical. I think that I am being aware of the situation I get myself into, because I think that I'm precious, because I value myself. So I'm not going to throw myself into any old situation like I might have when I was younger, right? When I was younger, I would throw caution to the wind. Well, I was going to live forever, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my worth yet. It took a while to learn my worth. And I didn't learn my worth when I was, at the top of the highest mountain, when everything was going smoothly. I always learned my worth, generally in the deepest despairs and the lowest of the valleys of my life. And it was when I was making the climb back up to another hilltop or mountaintop, if you will, that I really, really, really learned to appreciate myself. And so how have you become you? How have you become you, and what are you like? And what do you love about what you're like? Sometimes it can be honest. Sometimes you think it can be difficult to be honest with ourselves. You may lie to yourself to justify choices that you made. Well, yes, I think people, denial is often what that's called, to be in denial about it, but it's not helpful. And honestly, lying to yourself is just such a huge waste of time, because you already know. When you lie, I mean, you know, you know, you know it all. I mean, it's just what a huge waste of time. And when you lie to yourself, when you're not valuing yourself, you're not valuing yourself. You're not showing yourself any respect. You're not showing yourself any respect. I mean, you don't lie. We don't lie to people that we respect, right? I mean, little white lie, Oh, that dress is lovely, right? Well, it's just terrible, but you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But those aren't the kind of lies that we tell ourselves, right? I mean, you're talking about We're talking about much bigger things. And here's the kicker. You say that you perhaps you lie to yourself to justify choices that you've made. Listen, this is your life. This is your life. Yeah. Hi, Quinn. Hello, my darling. Yeah. It honestly, it accomplishes nothing. It accomplishes nothing, and it really it feeds the seeds of self doubt that you have, because now you're going. I can't even trust myself. I can't even trust myself. Okay, let me tell you something about the choices that you make. Um, I said before that oftentimes in life, sometimes the biggest choices that we have to make, the biggest decisions that we have to make, that have the biggest uh, repercussions, we often have to make them when we are literally on the battlefield. You know, uh, I mean, something really huge is going on in your life, and you could be, like take my divorce for example. It's just wrought with confusion and pain and regret, and which is a wasted emotion. It really is. Um, and I had to make these really big decisions, like from the depths of despair. I wasn't eating well, wasn't sleeping well. I was constantly under fire from my ex, right? It was not an opportune time to make decisions, but some decisions had to be made. And when things settled down and the smoke cleared, I realized that some of those decisions that I made, I did wrong. I chose wrong. Out of A, B, C, or D, I absolutely I chose the worst one I could choose. Oh well, that's life. Okay, I don't have to make excuses for why that happened. It is undeniable why the wrong choices were made. Undeniable. Anybody would have had a hard time in those circumstances. But at the end of the day, I don't have to justify any choices that I made, because I was the one that lived through the repercussions. If there was a mess that was made, I cleaned it up. So it's nobody's business. And I don't care what anybody thinks about it. When you get to that point where if there's choices that you've made and it was just unfortunate, I'm quite sure if you've made choices that didn't work out. We've all made choices that didn't work out. We made choices that affected other people as horribly as they affected ourselves. When you have apologized to people, if choices that you've made has affected them, you've apologized sincerely. You've done your best to clean up the mess, and you did better the next time you were in a situation like that. Then there's no reason to lie to yourself. Does that make sense? In retrospect, things seem clear, but have to remember what you're going. Exactly. And so you have to cut yourself the same slack. You make a decision that you had to make a super important decision at a super inconvenient time. You did the best you could do. That's it. That's all. Don't lie to yourself about it. If it resulted in something not cool, do your best to clean it up. Apologize to yourself, acknowledge what you're going through, and move on. You apologize, and then you do better. And you don't hold your feet to the fire over it, and you don't let anybody else hold your feet to the fire over it. Okay? Everybody in life has made decisions that they wish they could go back and do over. There is no such thing as getting to rewind the clock and do over. You can't do over, but you can do better. That's it. And you don't need to lie or make excuses for yourself. You lie to yourself and you keep yourself in denial, you can expect to do it again. Choose the behavior, you're going to choose the consequence. Okay? Don't make excuses. You can have excuses or you can have results. You cannot have both. You cannot have both. Excuses or results. If you want to do over, the best you can do is do better. If you want great results, right? If you want great results, then you have to be a part of the process that gets them. Okay? And that's it. Yeah, learn from our mistakes. That's what life's about. That's what life's about. I don't know what is driving the dog so crazy. I hope it is not my deep freezer finally getting delivered that I put off after I put off the live stream for an hour so that I could make it. Hold on. They are really going crazy. Hoping, hold on. I'm going to check this right here. Well, it doesn't say that it's here. Somebody's making them crazy. Hopefully it is just the normal Tuesday nonsense with the trash bag. So write a love letter to yourself. Okay? And when you do, think about who you're writing it to. Right? How did I become me? What am I like? And then on the back of this card was the affirmation, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Kind of goes along with what we were talking about. You can't go back, right? You can only go forward. That's how life works, right? Like you can go forward, you can fall forward, you can spring forward, but that's the way you're going. If you don't want to go forward, there's only one way to not achieve that. That would be everything else today. So, I have no idea what these guys are doing. I just have to look. Hold on. What are you doing? Okay. I had to check and see if that was a deep freezer, and it wasn't. So, yeah. Forget about those past mistakes. Forget about those past mistakes. And if you're dealing with the fallout from a past mistake today, clean it up. Apologize and move on. But most of the time, when people talk about past mistakes and past choices that are haunting them, they're seriously talking about stuff that happened like 20 years ago. I mean, let it go. Let it go. It's over. It's over. Why are you bringing? Why are you conjuring up that ghost? Ain't nothing gonna make that better, right? Sure, they're not talking about stuff that happened last week. Okay, they're seriously, where people are like, oh, they're all in angst over stuff. I, it is just not from last week. It is just talking like their high school sweetheart and stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, look, the older we get, the more we realize how valuable time is, and don't waste it. Don't waste it on things. Some people go things that you can't change. Some people do that um, because they like to beat up on themselves. I find very little value in that. I find very little value in self-flagellation. Okay, I just don't get off on it. Um, I'm not going to beat myself up because life's going to handle that for me, and I want to be primed and ready for whatever gets thrown at me. I'm not going to beat myself up over something that happened in my early 20s. My God, it was my early 20s. My early 20s. What a life was on for me, right? You got to talk to yourself like you would talk to a really dear friend. I read that advice once. I don't always do it. For sure, I can beat up on myself occasionally and get stuck. Um, but it's generally, it has something to do with something that's going on in the moment. It's not something that happened a long time ago. But I read that advice once that, you know, if a friend, like if you're going through something, talk to yourself the way you would if it was a friend of yours that was going through it. And I realized when I read that advice that the dialogue was much different, if I spoke to myself the way I would talk to a friend going through the same thing I was going through. What completely different dialogue. Yeah, it's hard to know what you were thinking. I mean, like, yeah, it's hard to know what you're thinking. You're different. Yeah, you're. I'm a different person than I was a year ago. So, um, and thoughts in my head, my thoughts never stop. So yeah, do I know what I was thinking in my 20s? No, I couldn't tell you on any given day. You know, doesn't matter. It was in my 20s. All I have to do is own the uh, the parts that have made me who I am today. The things that changed me from 20 to 21, and from 21 to 24, and from 24 to 30. That's all that matters, you know. Um, you have to, if you don't want toxicity in your life, you have to be the first person to weed it out. Weed it out. Get those, some people do a juice cleanse to get toxins out of their body. Well, every now and then I think it's important to do an emotional cleanse to get the toxins out too. And a lot of toxins, a lot of self pain, a lot of pain is self chosen. So when you are ready to let go and are done beating yourself up, or are done chasing a problem from 30 years ago that you can't relive, but you're wasting today just chasing, spinning it around in your head, start with forgiveness. Start with forgiveness. Start with understanding. Lead with kindness. Talk to yourself in the way that you would would if I came to you and I said, "Oh my God, I'm just a terrible person. And if I hadn't done this, then that wouldn't happen. And if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And what would you say to me?" Okay, so be kind. Kind. You have to. Today's focus was self-love, so to really love anybody else and to really allow yourself to be loved by anybody else, you really have to know who you are and love yourself and honor yourself. And yeah, you really have to just forgive yourself. You really do. I would have no idea why you would justify anything to anybody else unless something, and then unless something that you've done or doing or are going to do is going to affect somebody else. I don't even see the reason to explain. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Justification. This is such a double-edged sword for me. I feel like when people justify things, you're trying to just convince somebody else. I feel like trying to convince somebody else that something wrong you're doing is okay because of blank. If you have to justify something that you're doing to yourself or somebody else, you might really want to think about it before you do it. Because if you have to justify something, you're probably going to be apologizing pretty soon. But yes, if you really want to love other people and allow yourself to really be loved, you have to love yourself. And that just means you have to forgive yourself for the things that just don't even matter anymore. Two, think about who you were and where you were in your life when these things happened. And then three, man, release that beast back into the wild. Release it. Let it go. Chaos should not be caged, especially internal chaos. Release that beast, okay? So you're going to please write a love letter to yourself today. Loving yourself and honoring yourself for who you are and how you become who you are. Where you are in that rock tumbler, right? Everybody goes in a stone. At any given time, you can stop the tumbler and you're a little more polished and you're a little smoother because of the tumbling. That's life. Okay. Honor yourself. Okay. You should always be your first Valentine. Okay. And anybody else should be grateful to be along for the ride. Right? Yeah, you gotta be true to yourself. You gotta be true to yourself. If you're not true to yourself, you can't even have boundaries. If you don't know where you stop and where you end, how in the world can you have a boundary? And to people that say, "Well, I don't know who I am," I always say, "Okay, great. Well, start with who you're not." If you start with who you are not, you're going to find out who you are pretty quickly. Start with everything you're not. Okay? Not a bully, not a liar, not a false friend, I'm not a phony person. Well, what is the opposite of all that? I'm not a bully. No, I'm kind. I'm giving and I'm accepting. I'm not a liar. No, I'm brutally honest sometimes. Okay, and that includes myself. That's a good thing. I always know where I'm at. Everybody else always knows where they are with me. Okay, that's a good, awesome thing. Okay, I'm not a fake friend. No, you really want to know who your friends are. watch. Let something hit the fan, and you're going to turn around, and you're going to be looking for where all your friends are. And guess what? I'm in front of you. I'm in front of you, blocking the bull as best as I can. I'm next to you. I'm not behind you. I'm in front, shielding you. Okay? I don't know. I know those things about me, and those are admirable things. And so I guess what? I get gold stars for all of them. And people can say that's arrogant. People can say, oh, way to go tooting your own horn. You bet. I don't just toot my own horn. I'm my own marching band. I have a whole marching band. Okay? Beat myself up for a lot of years. No. It's my time. It's my time. So write that letter to yourself. And Lipton, these are all reasons why you should sponsor me. One day, you guys, one day. Yes, you have to celebrate yourself. Come on, you have to, okay? Now, so I got these other cards. They're really, really cool. I think I used them last week. Mindful messages, they're called. So this is a nice one that I pulled for today. And it's loving friends. This is an affirmation. I surround myself with people who inspire me and grow together with me. My friends raise me up and hold me to the best that I can be. I am loved unconditionally and supported throughout my journey. I release old friendships which may be toxic or keeping me stagnant. Okay. If you love yourself, you're going to make sure that you're surrounded by good people. If you really love yourself, you're going to protect yourself, and you're not going to allow people into your circle that could hurt you. That's part of it. So you can call that boundaries, and people won't like it. People that are toxic and are not really loving of you are not going to like it when you assert boundaries or when you start loving yourself. I had a really, I have that ongoing toxic relationship, with the friend. She's not a friend, whose business I'm running. And so I have to deal with her every now and then. And it doesn't go over well. And she's constantly trying to tell me everything that I'm not. And I just laugh at her. And I finally, a couple of weeks ago, she came over and she was just, I swear, determined just to take me down a few pegs. And, we're on opposite ends of this table, and I'm just like hitting it, and I'm like, hey, your opinion of me will never, ever, ever change my opinion of me. So I don't care what you say. Your opinion has no value. Your money's no good here, basically. Okay, you don't get a seat at the table. You don't get a vote. You don't get a vote because you're not a good person. So, she has not liked. And what really she doesn't like is the fact that I'm leaving this business where she really has exploited me for 2.5 years. I'm leaving, and she doesn't know what she's going to do. That is not my cross to bear. I don't know what to tell you, sister. So she's gonna, try to hit me any way she can. It's really, it's really abusive. But because I know her, and I know what the goal is, and I know myself, everything she says is just, it's almost like I have an invisible shield. It's like just deflected before it ever hits. In my 30s, I would not have been able to do I would have been crushed. Do you know what I mean? I would have let it would just would have all been so personal. It would have all achieved exactly what she wanted to achieve. But I didn't know myself. I didn't love myself enough yet. I didn't know my worth. I hadn't been through enough to see how valuable I was. I hadn't even had enough crappy relationships, believe it or not, to understand what I wasn't going to put up with anymore. And she would have just taken me down, 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 down where she wanted to. You can't even touch me anymore. I just sit back and smile, and it just makes her livid, which that's not my goal. My goal is to shut her up, you know. But I swear, for 3 hours, 4 hours of my life that I'll never get back. Yeah, that's a big thing. So and the boundaries are so firm, and there's nothing about the situation that she can control. I'm leaving, one way or the other. Um, it's actively taking those steps, and so it's got to be for somebody that likes control. It's got to be just uh, scary, I would imagine. And so a lot of times people turn fear becomes anger, right? So that's not my problem anymore. It's not my problem. I wish her the best. I wish her the best. I really do. But I'm not going to let her hurt me. I'm not going to be exploited anymore either. But yeah, people in your life won't like that. But it doesn't matter. What you'll find is when you love yourself and you honor yourself, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't love you or honor you. You almost want to thank them for clearly showing you um, what they're not, that they're not on your team. You almost want to thank people for not wasting my time, for showing me who they are. Um, what I've also found is that if you really want to see who somebody is, watch them. Watch them when they don't get what they want. Think about that. When somebody doesn't get what they want, that's often when you're going to see exactly who they are, especially with people that like control. Okay? Just the way it is. Well, hi, Gregory. How nice to see you. How nice to see you. Yeah. Oh, I think probably the last time that that I really interacted with you was right after Clarence had died. That was really, really tough. Um, but thank you. Doing good, doing better, doing much, much better. So shadows of the good old days. Yeah. Hey, listen. Every day can be a good old day, right? Um, yeah, that was a really difficult time, and believe it or not, what I have found by having to handle everything that happened, just after Clarence's death, it is shocking. Uh, Dying is almost more work than being born. I mean, just all the things that have to be, all the boxes that have to be checked off, and making sure that accounts are shut down. It was a lot. It was a lot. What it did going through that with Clarence, what it did was it really showed me um, and really made it a priority for me to make sure that things are aligned and set up and as seamless as possible when I die for the person that will take care of things from, you know, in the aftermath of that. I guess I would call it an aftermath because that's what it felt like. It just showed me how it's just, I just really want to make sure that everything is together and that they know what they have to do. I've even written a letter like, thank you for taking care of this for me. And I did learn so much. And let me tell you what, I would never want to do it again. I'm like, oh, I don't think I will ever take on that kind of responsibility for that again. But at the same time, I learned to appreciate um, the responsibility that you're putting on somebody to take care of things for you after you're dead. And if it hadn't been for law school and things, I hadn't had certain things in place, like the powers of attorney and stuff, I wouldn't even have been able to get him cremated without that medical power of attorney. And it was just a lot. While I would never want to go through it again, I'm so grateful for the lessons that I learned because I could pay it forward and try to make it, because I'll die one day. I don't know when, but it will happen. And I learned that I need to make it as gentle as a process as I can, out of appreciation for how hard it can be when you're just thrown in. So I did learn a lot from that. And that's what we're supposed to do with any lesson that we learn, right? With any lesson that we learn and anything that we go through, that's tough. Like I felt, he was 83. He would have been 84 in January. Certainly he was, going to die like all of us. I didn't expect him to die that day. I didn't expect him to die that week. I didn't expect him to die here. I thought he would die someplace after we moved, and we were in a different place, a better environment. That's not what happened. And it was just it was good. It was just gut wrenching. But I learned so much from it. And that's what you're supposed to do when you go through things that are really difficult and really tough, because that's life. And what you do is you learn so that you make it better for the next person, or so that you know more or have more appreciation for something the next time you're in a situation like that. That's all that you can hope for, because life's going to throw difficult things at you. It just is. Life's going to throw things at you that you're not prepared for, even if you think that you are. And you're going to fall down, and you're going to, go live in front of people you've never met and make a fool of yourself, maybe. Like why did I make a fool of myself? I was just raw and I was honest with what I was going through with it. And that's the best you can do too, is just be raw, experience it. If there's mistakes that are made, then make the mistakes and make note of them and don't do it again the next time. So I've forgiven myself for the things that I did not handle well, and things I'm still dealing with, So life is interesting. So I know that when I write my Valentine's Day letter to myself today, it will, it will definitely include appreciation. Appreciation for how I handled that one situation, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it, because I still handled it, and still am handling it, actually. So that's the best that you can do. So it's when when you write this love letter to yourself, this Valentine's letter to yourself, make sure to appreciate the way that you, the way that you should honor yourself for showing up, and honor yourself for taking the hits, and honor yourself for getting back up after you fall down. Guilty of not getting around to any of that basic stuff because that causes such problems. So yes, so that's kind of along the same vein of something we were talking about earlier, how you have to change the way you talk to yourself if you're going through something, rather than beating yourself up. You would talk to yourself the way you would talk to yourself, talk to a friend if a friend brought the same dilemma to you, because you wouldn't beat them up. You would talk to them with compassion and empathy and understanding and advice and encouragement. You wouldn't kick them when they were down. So many people are guilty of making themselves the last rung on the ladder, the last priority. So I would just say that you said that you're guilty of not getting that stuff, getting around to that stuff, right? But you'd run and you'd immediately jump up and help somebody else get it done for themselves. Well, somebody else is going to handle your affairs after you're gone. So you getting around to them is you running and helping that person right now. If that just helps for you to prioritize it. I know I can be ridiculously codependent. I will just drop anything to help somebody else achieve something. So sometimes I've had to kind of teach myself that if I don't make myself a priority and take care of myself, then I'm not going to be there to take care of the other people and the other things that I really feel like I need to take care of. You gotta make yourself a priority. But I promise you guys, please make sure that somebody knows what your final wishes are, because that also helped after Clarence died. Anyway, so you're gonna write yourself a Valentine's Day letter. You're gonna be kind to yourself and loving to yourself and appreciative of everything you've been through, right? And on that note, anybody have anything else? I know it's not Valentine's Day for Sarah anymore. I think I have the slow mode on the chat. Drowning in some sort of river of responsibility. I saw a great T-shirt the other day, and I don't know, and of course now I don't know where my phone is. But and I thought to myself, because I'd love to make shirts and pajamas and stuff, right? With my Cricut machine, I love it. And I really need to make some more mugs. But let me see if I can find it, because it was a really funny shirt. This is what it says. This is a shirt. Being a functional adult every day seems a bit excessive. And I agree. Slow mo's on. Yeah, I don't know. One of these days, technology and I will have a meeting of the minds, and then I'll die as soon as I get it figured out. It's a miracle when I get on. The webcam is wonderful. So, um, all right. Well, happy Valentine's Day to whoever it is still Valentine's Day for. I saw a really cute post on Facebook. I think Teresa, I think, posted it. And I guess last night, of course, I'm not really sure where Teresa's at. Could have been Valentine's Day for her yesterday, because I know it was for Sarah. Um, um, she had something with a bunch of her girlfriends, and they called it Galentine's Day, and I just thought that was so cute. So, okay, so um, because I know uh, that today is the 15th for Sarah, um, and I used to do this all the time for Sarah. Um, when I would do the positive affirmation tours every Tuesday, I would always read the affirmation, or I would do the reading for that day. So I'm going to read the one for February 15th um, for Sarah, because it's February 15th for her. And it is ask the universe for help. You have come so far. You have learned to ask for help from people when you need it. Uh, you've learned to ask God as you understand God, for help too. Now you're entering into a relationship with the universe, an active, vital, living relationship. Now you can learn to ask the universe for help as well. Talk to the universe. Talk aloud if you can. Say, show me, guide me, lead me, help me. This is what I want. This is what I need. Say, show me which road to follow, where to go, and what to do. And talk to people. They are part of the universe and world we live in. But talk aloud to the universe too. Then listen to your inner voice. Hear what it says and trust what you hear. Answers come in many ways, from many sources, many places. But if the answer is right for you, your heart will know and it will feel true. And then the last little saying is, talk to the universe, ask it for help, then listen to your heart. Because that quiet voice, the one in your heart, is how the universe really talks to you. And that is why, Sarah, it is important that you don't lie to yourself about things, because if you do, you don't trust that inner voice, okay? So, oh, yes, Sarah, you are so welcome. So, I release you all back into your adulting, your very back down the river of responsibilities you go. Sarah, off to your day you go. Me, I'm going to go in search of where this deep freezer chest is. It is another box I check off. Tells me I'm getting closer to my move, which is what I want, and then I'm actively taking part and making that happen, and that's really important. So write that Valentine's Day letter to yourself. If you want to have a harmonious relationship with yourself, if you want to have a relationship that's really honest and loving and it's quality, and it's a quality relationship, and it will be something that you base other relationships in your life off of, then you have to love yourself. And that's all of you. That's all of you. That's every single little, the way that you would ask somebody else to love you if they came into your life. Okay? A lot of things in life can be compartmentalized. Okay? Kind of hard to compartmentalize who you are. You're just kind of a package. the things that you got to work on, the things that are awesome. You know, it's just, you got to love it all. You have to embrace it all. I've said it a gazillion times, right? I said it a gazillion times. Knowing your weaknesses, knowing the things about you that you consider kind of icky or the things that need work, that is just as important as knowing the greatest of your strengths. It's just as important to know your weaknesses. Don't be in denial about them. Embrace them and go, oh, you poor thing. You need a lot of extra love and attention. Come here and give me a hug, right? Hug those things about yourself that you don't dig. Hug them, love them, those poor little wretched things. Okay. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for spending your day with me. Gregory, it was nice to see you. Sarah, have a great day. Quinn, get back to writing. Did you see the prompts that I posted? And then on Monday, we'll meet up. Thursday, we'll be here for creative visualization. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Are you sending that to me like the first reading said? Send love letters to your friends? Yeah. And the fun with the writing, and thank you, Sarah. I'm gonna be waiting for those good vibes. Yeah, and fun writing prompts this time. Fun because you get to do anything you want to with them. Do anything you want to with them. And this time, the winner. I don't know what I did with that. I'm searching. Well, yeah, that could be a good T-shirt. Searching. I'm searching. Anyway, somewhere I have those beautiful journals from Beach, and who did them? I had the card out somewhere. Oh, so it's a straight company. I knew I had the card somewhere. Called Beachmore Books in London, and I bought a couple like really beautiful journals from them. And so I thought that this time for this reading ceremony, whoever won, I wanted to get them a really nice, one of these really nice Beachmore Books journals, and then some of my pens, and then I thought I would make a T-shirt for the person, for the winner. So a bunch of good stuff. So get to writing, because the last day to submit entries for that will be the same day as the writing contest that some people are doing. Nola already sent in her submission to that contest. So, all right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Listen, be kind. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Find every single reason you can to smile. I will be back here on Thursday for creative visualization, creating the life you want. Got new cards for that one that are amazing, called Dream Cards. I'll be pulling one every Thursday for creative visualization, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.